Less than 3 hours from now, we are counting it down. That's when the window will open. But Adam Schefter is with us right now. Let's dive into all of the news. And Schefty, we start with the story that you broke for us this morning. For those just joining us, the Dolphins have made the expected move of moving on from Tua Tagovailoa. So what does that mean? Take us through the dominoes that sets in motion.
Well, first and foremost, Greeny, the Miami Dolphins have designated Tua Tagovailoa a post-June 1 cap casualty to spread out the cap hit of $99 million, a record cap hit for any team. No team ever has taken on more dead cap space than the Dolphins will for Tua Tagovailoa. What this means is that the Miami Dolphins now have a hole at quarterback that we expected all along. They have a new general manager in John Eric Sullivan, a new head coach in Jeff Hafley. They're going to need a new quarterback. They have Quinn Ewers in-house. We'll see whether they're willing to go spend the money it would take to add a quarterback like Malik Willis to complement him, or whether they want to ride it out with somebody like Quinn Ewers. As for Tua Tagovailoa, he becomes a free agent. He now joins Geno Smith and Kyler Murray, who will be released later this week, and Malik Willis and some of these other more notable quarterbacks now in search of a new home, as Tua Tagovailoa will be leaving the Miami Dolphins.
All right, Shefty, hold that thought a minute. I'm coming back to you, but I want to get Orlovsky and the crew in on the Malik Willis of it all. We talked about Tua earlier this morning, Dan, and I don't think that any of us expect some team to bring him in and say, that's our starter this year.
Unlikely.
We'll see what his fate is. How about Malik Willis? I have found the ascension of Malik Willis really fascinating in the limited playing time that we've seen from him in Green Bay in that offense. He's looked very, very good, and he's going to get paid some reasonably big money. What do you think, Dan? Tell everyone what they should be expecting in Malik Willis.
Yeah, I really believe, and I felt this way, Malik Willis is going to get $40 to $50 million from somebody over 2 years. I think the two likeliest teams are the Arizona Cardinals and the Pittsburgh Steelers. This is a guy, so everyone understands, Malik Willis was initially at Auburn. He then transfers from Auburn, goes to Liberty, and has a really good college career. He's in conversation to be a first-round pick. He doesn't. I think he goes to third round or second round to the Tennessee Titans. Yep. And then he's traded to Green Bay, and he has the opportunity to get on the field. He's dynamic as a runner, but he's also developed as a passer. Very clean in the pocket with his feet, very good throwing the football down the field. And so while the body of work is small, there is a lot of, he's still young and just scratching the surface of unknown potential. And so if I'm in the Arizona Cardinals, yes, I'm entertaining Malik Willis. It wouldn't negate me from drafting Ty Simpson later in that first round if I was Arizona. And if I'm the Pittsburgh Steelers and I don't have confirmation that Aaron Rodgers is coming back, I'm absolutely in the Malik Willis conversation.
The Steelers piece of this interests me, Dan Graziano.
Me too.
And I know how much you enjoy it when I ask you about Aaron Rodgers. But in this case, they need to know one way or another, right? If the Steelers need a quarterback. And this is the day. I mean, Schefter said earlier this morning, for those just joining us, he thinks we could hear something on Malik Willis as soon as today. Yeah. If they want to play in that market, I don't know that they do or they don't. If they want to play in that game, they need something from Rodgers sooner, not later, right?
You would think, unless they're content with Will Howard as a fallback or someone else in the draft either this year or next year. Haven't heard anything on the Steelers quarterback situation other than it sounds like, they're waiting on Aaron Rodgers, and it sounds like that probably works out. But to your point, if they aren't 100% sure Aaron Rodgers is coming back, they should be playing around on some of these other guys. I just haven't heard that they are.
They have to. You can't do what they did last year and wait. And to Aaron Rodgers' credit, he said it, like a contract hasn't been offered. So it's not like the ball's in his court and they're just waiting around. But if you're the Pittsburgh Steelers, if you're not sure whether he's going to play or not, you have to get in conversations, whether you like Malik Willis or not. But with the quarterbacks that are now available, whether that's Kyler Murray, Geno Smith, you can go down the list of guys.
Or if you're not into those guys, like there's another veteran group, like Kirk Cousins might be waiting around to see if a situation like that comes open. Joe Flacco, guys like that. So maybe they're reaching out to guys like that to see where they're headed.
There could be other alternatives, but again, Schefter told us earlier this morning, expect something on Malik Willis as soon as today. Next stop, Schefter, is Philadelphia. We've been leading up to this for what feels like forever on A.J. Brown. Now the day has finally arrived. What are you hearing?
I think there's ongoing conversation, and here's how you have to look at it. If you're the Philadelphia Eagles and you're going to trade A.J. Brown, there are a couple of windows in which to do it. One would be today or tomorrow before any of these huge free agents sign, if you want to jump in and get any of these free agents, you would like to have clarity on the A.J. Brown situation and what it's going to cost to move on from him and whether you have that cash flexibility or not. Now, if they don't make a move, obviously that could hinder them in free agency. They could opt to hold on to him and trade him right before June 1. They could designate him a post-June 1 trade move and agree with the team if that's. There's a lot of ways this still can go. And I think all along the Eagles have been waiting to get an offer that they can't refuse, much like the Raiders were waiting for an offer that they couldn't refuse on Max Crosby. It came together Friday night. We'll see if there's an offer that comes together that the Eagles can't refuse on A.J. Brown today.
Well, Dan, with the Bills making the, I think, aggressive move of trading for DJ Moore last week, we would assume that takes them out of this conversation. So I feel like a lot of eyes are on New England here. If you're the Patriots, Dan, should they be moving heaven and earth to try and get A.J. Brown?
I would not if I was New England. If I was New England, I'd rather pay Alec Pierce $90 million over 3 years than take the assets that I have and go all in with A.J. Brown. A.J.'s still a very good player, but watching what New England did in the draft last year, to think that you're going to give up a first and maybe a second or something in the future to go after A.J. Brown, I just think that they're better suited to continue to build their football team with those draft picks. You're not as close as you thought you were last year because of the schedule that was a benefactor. And still, while AJ's still really good, if I'm New England, I want those picks. I want to continue to build this roster for the foreseeable future. Greeny, your point, Buffalo was a likely team, they're not anymore. Baltimore was a likely team, they're not anymore. So if you're the Eagles and A.J. Brown, it really feels like, all right, New England, I just stated where I would stand. And I'd throw two teams out there that might be sleepers. The Los Angeles Chargers and the Houston Texans. If I were either of those teams, I think I'm a little bit more inclined to be aggressive in that situation, more so than New England.
Schefter.
Yeah, and Dan brought up Alec Pierce and the Patriots. I know a lot of people all around New England have been waiting to see whether Alec Pierce winds up with the Patriots. And we'll see how the day unfolds. I would just say this right now at 9:10 a.m. on Monday morning. I would be surprised if Alec Pierce winds up in New England with the Patriots. To me, I'm not seeing that. We'll see how the day unfolds. There's a lot of things that change very quickly. But in that situation, to me, it sounds like the Patriots are on the outside looking in.
Dan.
I think the Patriots have to be careful and assess who they actually are. To Orlovsky's point, the schedule was part of the reason they landed in the Super Bowl. Like, they are probably not as far along in their development as a franchise as the Super Bowl appearance indicates. So don't go too, 2025 Washington Commanders on us and feel like you're one piece away.
Right.
My advice to the Patriots would be to continue building, and I think this is a lot like what Orlovsky's saying, continue building the way you already were. Like, let's pretend you had lost in the second round of the playoffs and continue the plan that you had going into last offseason.
And on the other side of it, the A.J. Brown piece of it, if you're A.J. Brown, do you start to look at this situation and say, you know what, like, after last season, going into this offseason, maybe I was excited about what new scenery may look like. But this last probably month that we've talked about it, seems like the teams are almost narrowing down where we're talking about New England.
Yeah.
And what you're saying, Dan, and what Dan O is saying, it almost seems like if I'm A.J. Brown, I'm contacting Philly and Howie, and I'm saying, you know what, like, I'm okay here. I can work this thing out with Jalen Hurts because I'm not so sure the options we're talking about puts him in a better position than what he has in Philly.
And Schefter referenced it, that the Eagles would benefit cap-wise by waiting until after June 1st to trade him. You can't designate someone a post-June 1st trade like you can with a release. You have to actually wait till after June 1st to do it. But then you don't get 2026 draft picks is the difference. Of course, everybody likes the 2027 draft, so maybe that becomes a realistic thing for the Eagles.
Let me get a 30-second question into Schefter here. You mentioned you expect Malik Willis today. Do you expect Trey Hendrickson today?
That's a tricky question. I would say this, that Trey Hendrickson is one of the, if not the top pass rusher on the market. I think he's 31. We saw Danielle Hunter get huge money last week, a one-year extension worth over $40 million. I think Trey Hendrickson obviously is going to command and demand a lot of money, and I don't know that he's going to be willing to settle right away. So if there's a team that's going to meet his price, yes, we'll see action today. If not, I think he's determined. He feels like he's worked awfully hard to put himself into this position, and he's willing to wait to get the deal that he feels like he deserves and is fair.
see, a lot of my Bears friends are interested in that one. There's a lot of teams that I think will be looking in his direction.
31 years old, so the question is going to be, how long do you want to go on the deal? Like, there are probably teams that would do a big money one-year deal with Trey Hendrickson, but he may be looking for more than that. Exactly.
He waited forever for this moment. He's going to take advantage of it. And then there are the quarterbacks. We touched on it at the beginning there with Tua and with Malik Willis. What quarterback chaos will begin as soon as free agency